In this problem, we'll see how to rewrite and then graph a parabola. Let's look at our helpful hint. If the equation of the parabola has a y squared term, then it can be written in the standard form x equals a times y minus k squared plus h. The vertex is hk, and the graph is a horizontal parabola. Rewrite y squared minus 6y minus x plus 13 equals 0 in standard form. Find the center or vertex, plot at least one other point, identify the conic, and sketch the curve. Here we have an equation of a parabola that we want to graph, and the helpful hint says when we have a y squared term in the equation, we can write it in standard form. Notice in the standard form we have x isolated on the left. So my first step in getting this into standard form will be getting all the other terms besides the negative x onto the other side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract y squared, add 6y, subtract 13 from both sides. Now, in order to have a positive x on the left, I'm going to divide through each side of the equation by -1. And doing that just changes my signs on all the terms. So we have our x on the left. Now on the right side, in order to have the y minus k squared part, I'm going to need to complete the square on the y terms. So I'm just going to rewrite this right-hand side, but leave some space. I'll be adding a number so that I can complete the square, but in order to keep the equation balanced, I'll need to subtract that same value. Now, to determine which number to add here to complete the square, I take the coefficient of y, which is -6, divide by 2, and then square. -6 divided by 2 is -3. If I square that, I get 9. So I want to add 9 and then subtract that same value. Now I can write y squared minus 6y plus 9 as a binomial squared. And I get y minus 3 squared. And you can check that mentally. If you square y minus 3, you get y squared minus 6y plus 9. -9 plus 13 is 4. Once my equation is in this form, the hint says that the vertex is hk. Well, my h in this case is 4, and my k is 3. So I have my vertex at 4, 3. And the hint also says to find one other point on the graph. Probably the easiest point to find is the x-intercept. To do that, we let y equal 0. And if we look at this equation and let y equal 0, we can easily see that x would be 13. And we can write that x-intercept as an ordered pair, 13, 0. Now we'll construct the graph. So we've found the vertex and the x-intercept of our parabola, and now we're going to graph it. Our vertex is at 4, 3. So starting at the origin, over 4 and up 3, can mark our vertex. And we found our x-intercept to be at 13, 0. which is right here. And remember, through the vertex we can draw a dashed line, and our parabola will be symmetric about that line. And that will help me get another point up here. Notice this point is 3 units away from that axis of symmetry. If I go 3 points up from the axis of symmetry, I can find that the parabola would go through that point. So our parabola is this sideways U shape. So this was our original equation. The helpful hint said if we write it in standard form, we can see the vertex, hk. And because our original equation had a y squared term, we know that the parabola will be a horizontal one.